FM spectrum and bandwidth is the is the topic of this lecture. Frequency modulation is spectrum and its bandwidth. In previous lecture, we have discussed about frequency modulation, which is an important modulation technique used in FM broadcasting and mobile communication system. In this lecture, we'll be discussing about the number of sidebands which constitute the spectrum of FM, frequency modulated signal. And then we'll also discuss about the bandwidth, how much bandwidth is there in FM, what are the factors on which bandwidth depends. So all these discussions we'll have in this lecture. Frequency modulation, let's begin with frequency modulation. We know that in any frequency modulation method, frequency of carrier changes in accordance with amplitude of modulating signal, in accordance with instantaneous value of message signal. So if we can see here one example where the first signal is carrier, the second is baseband signal, that is message signal, and third one is FM signal, which is frequency modulated signal. Now let's understand how the carrier signal attribute, especially frequency, is changing. So if you look at here, when the amplitude of modulating signal is increasing, if the amplitude of message signal is increasing, look at here, the frequency of carrier signal is increasing. So when the instantaneous value of message signal increases, look at here, the frequency is increasing. When it starts decreasing, look at here, the frequency starts decreasing, and it keeps on decreasing until it reaches some minimum value. And if you can see, what are the two peaks, what are the two peak values in amplitude, that message signal? You see here, this is the maximum value and this is the minimum value. And therefore, if the peak of the message signal is here, so exactly the same point, the maximum frequency will occur. Similarly, when there is minimum amplitude of signal, minimum value of signal, there only the frequency is minimum. So when the frequency of carrier changes in accordance with instantaneous value of modulating signal, which means when the instantaneous value increases, frequency of carrier increases. When it decreases, frequency of carrier decreases. And when the amplitude of modulating signal or instantaneous value becomes maximum, the change in frequency becomes maximum. When it becomes minimum, I mean the instantaneous value of modulating signal, then the change in frequency becomes minimum. So when we see there is change in frequency, it means the frequency deviation is there. Frequency is deviating from its original value. So how much is the deviation? We can calculate by maximum value of frequency minus the original unmodulated carrier frequency, or we can subtract minimum value from the unmodulated carrier frequency. So we can calculate frequency deviation, the change in frequency, as either subtraction of maximum and carrier, or subtraction from carrier, that subtraction of minimum value from carrier. And why the change, why the deviation is important? Because we know that in frequency modulation, change in carrier frequency is the most important factor. So frequency deviation indicates how much modulation is there, how much modulation has taken place, and therefore the factor related to deviation in frequency, related to change in frequency is very important in frequency modulation. As we can see, whatever we discussed there has been highlighted. When the frequency increases, I mean the amplitude of modulating signal increases, FC which is carrier frequency will also increase. When it decreases, it will also decrease. The value of carrier frequency is maximum when input signal is at peak. When it is at lowest, that is the instantaneous value of modulating signal is at lowest, then the carrier frequency also becomes minimum. So, and when the modulating voltage is 0 volt, say there is no modulating signal applied, so will there be any change in carrier frequency? No. So if there is 0 volt for 0 volt modulating signal voltage, instantaneous voltage, the frequency of carrier will be normal and there won't be any change in carrier frequency. All right. So I was talking about frequency deviation, which is an important factor. The amount of change, the quantum of change in the carrier frequency is called as frequency deviation. Why do we get this change? The change is due to the change in amplitude of modulating signal. More is the change in amplitude modulated, more is the change in amplitude of my message signal, more will be the change in frequency of carrier. All right, so amount of change is expressed as frequency deviation. The carrier frequency swings from max to minimum when input signal varies. We have seen in the previous diagram, you see here, it swings from max to min when there is swing, when there is change in the input voltage. The carrier frequency will be minimum when the input signal is lowest, and the carrier frequency will just swing from maximum to minimum when the instantaneous value of the message signal also changes from minimum to maximum. And the difference, as I have already told you, maximum carrier frequency minus original carrier frequency or carrier frequency minus minimum value will result FD or delta F. We call it, we denote it by, which is called as frequency deviation. There is another important factor which is called as modulation index. In amplitude modulation also, we have seen modulation index, which is also known as modulation percentage, that indicates the amount of modulation which takes place in amplitude modulation. Similarly, in frequency modulation as well, the index which will indicate, the index which will tell us how much modulation means what? How much change in carrier frequency? Because of frequency modulation, the carrier frequency is changing. So if there is any modulation taking place, carrier frequency is changing. So how do we calculate how much? One is deviation, of course, but there is an index which we can calculate that is equal to del F divided by Fm, which is where del F is the frequency deviation. Actually, it's maximum frequency deviation divided by maximum modulating signal. As we can see that the standard expression of Fm is written as A sine of omega Ct plus Mf sine omega Mt, where what is Mf? Del F divided by Fm, which is called as modulation index, which is called as modulation index. All right, and if you see here, we have already discussed in the previous lecture that the angle changes, and that change is proportional to the modulating signal, that is instantaneous value of modulating signal. So, and where A is the amplitude of Fm signal, amplitude of carrier signal, and omega m, as we know, 2 pi Fm, where Fm is the frequency of modulating signal, omega c is 2 pi Fc, where Fc is the frequency of carrier, that is unmodulated carrier frequency. All right. So what is modulation index? It is actually ratio of frequency deviation to the frequency of modulating signal, frequency of transmitting signal. frequency of message signal, frequency of baseband signal. All right. So as you can see that the modulation index is equal to del f divided by fm. What is fm here? Frequency of modulating signal, which will never change in any modulation method. Frequency of message signal will never change. So what is there only here in this expression that can change? That is del f, frequency deviation. And how will it change? When the amplitude of message signal changes. So more is this change, more will be the modulation index. So modulation index is mainly controlled by how much change is there in the carrier frequency. More is the change, more is the index. Rather, actually, we should actually write a statement: more is the modulation index, more is the change in carrier frequency. That is actually the correct or appropriate statement. When there is more modulation index, which clearly means that there has been large amount of change in carrier frequency. All right. So then bandwidth. Then I will go to the spectrum. Right. We will discuss about the spectrum, and therefore we are talking some important terms which are meaningful while discussing about the spectrum of FM signal. Therefore, we are discussing about frequency deviation, modulation index, and the bandwidth. Okay, so what is bandwidth? Now we need to understand in amplitude modulation, how do we calculate bandwidth? We calculate bandwidth by calculating the total space which is occupied by the two side bands, and how much we get in AM to FM, where FM is one side band or the space required by one side band. So in the similar manner, when we are interested to calculate bandwidth of frequency modulation, we need to similarly calculate the total range of frequencies occupied by all the side bands. But that's what we are going to discuss. It's very difficult to calculate. It's difficult to consider all the ranges of frequency which are occupied by all the side bands, because ideally in FM there are infinite side bands. So how can we calculate? Now there is one estimated theory, and it suggests that only first few side bands contain 98% of the total power. So when 98% of the total power is there in the beginning few side bands, we can consider those side bands only, and we can say that yes, the total bandwidth is approximately this much, because 98%, which is almost 100%, is covered. 100% power is there in that particular range of frequency. So these bands are considered to be significant bands which are in the beginning. Significant bands which are in the beginning. So Carson actually suggested, otherwise try to understand, it would be very difficult to calculate the bandwidth if it has infinite side bands. So Carson suggested, and Carson actually approximately calculated that bandwidth as 2 times twice of del f plus fm, where del f is frequency deviation, fm is the maximum frequency of modulating signal. So this sum is multiplied by 2, it becomes bandwidth of FM signal as suggested, as observed by Carson. We can also write this expression as, if we separate FM outside, it becomes here del f by FM plus 1. So we can also write the expression as 2FM into MF plus 1. In some literature, you may find MF as beta in frequency modulation. So any terminology can be used. There is no problem at all. But what is important here, see, and the bandwidth in FM signal, bandwidth in FM depends on what? Modulation index and the frequency of modulating signal. Once the message signal is chosen, once the message signal is being transmitted, you are not going to alter. You are not going to change the frequency of message signal. So what is in your hand? Something which we can change, something which we can vary in order to get the larger bandwidth is the modulation index. Larger is the modulation index, or bigger is the modulation index, larger will be the bandwidth. So this is what I was telling you in the previous lecture. If you see here, if the modulation index is 0.5, approximately it has only one sideband on from both on both the side of carrier. If you go for 2, increases by 2. If you go for modulation index 2, we have 4 sidebands. If it's 4, the modulation, the number of sidebands is 5. So as you can see, the number of sidebands increases when we increase the modulation index, which clearly means that when the modulation percentage or modulation index is increasing, more and more number of sidebands are observed, and therefore, of course, bandwidth will increase. So ideally, it is assumed that the bandwidth will be infinite, which is not true, because initially in the beginning, sidebands may be up to certain values. Probably modulation index is still 5 or 10. Whatever number of sidebands are there, that contain, that carry maximum amount of power, and we can easily consider those sidebands, and approximately we can calculate the bandwidth, right? So this diagram indicates, these diagrams depicts that as we increase the modulation index, the number of sidebands will also increase, and accordingly the bandwidth requirement will increase. This is what actually is the FM spectrum, right? We do not have one spectral component. It's not spectra, right? It's a spectra, we can rather say, because we have a number of components. We know that when we actually go to the FM expression, see here, it is sine of omega ct plus something into sine. So when you expand, you will get sine of sine, or sine of cosine, or cosine of sine somewhere. And mathematically in trigonometry, there is no direct rule by which you can calculate sine of sine, or sine of cosine, or cosine of sine. So therefore, Bessel's functions, this particular thing, this particular concept was highlighted in the previous lecture as well. So what do? We use standard Bessel's functions, Bessel's Jacobian operators, and then we finally write the expression of FM signal as, look at here, A J0 MF sine omega ct. What is this? This is actually, if I can consider one pen. So this actually is the carrier signal, right? And what is this? You look at here, this particular portion. This is your first pair of sideband. First pair of sideband. One is at omega c plus omega m, and second is at omega c minus omega m. Thirdly, MF, omega c plus 2 omega m, omega c minus 2 omega m. Next, omega c plus 3 omega m, omega c minus 3 omega m, and so on. Where this J0, J1, J2, J3, J4, which are functions of modulation index, means these Jacobian operators or the Bessel functions are the function of modulation index. If modulation index changes, these values, these coefficients will also change. All right. So what is important here? You can see that there is a carrier. So carrier is here. So in the expression of FM signal, if we draw the spectrum, we have carrier at the center, and then we have so many sidebands, located at omega c plus omega m, omega c plus 2 omega m, omega c plus 3 omega m, and so on. In the similar manner, in the negative side, omega c minus omega m, omega c minus 2 omega m, and so on. So we have infinite number of sidebands, all right, and we know about what omega c is here, what omega m is here. So when we draw all these spectral components, when we plot the amplitude spectrum, we'll find the amplitude spectrum as this. We all know that, right? The amplitude spectrum looks like this. See here, this side, all lower sidebands are can be seen, and on the right hand side of carrier, you can see all upper sidebands. And if you can see, the first sideband is at Fc plus Fm, then plus 2 Fm, plus 3 Fm, plus 4 FM. Similarly, in the negative side, FC minus FM, FC minus 2 FM, and so on. So we have as the the side bands are increasing, you can find that the more and more components can be seen. What is important in this spectrum is, this is a very important point which we can see here, that the amplitude strength, look at here, of the carrier is this one. But when you go from carrier to all the subsequent, all the the side bands, you can observe that the amplitude is actually in decreasing. This is why I mentioned one statement. We discussed one theory that almost 98% of power is there in the first few side bands. And because see, after certain number of side bands, almost the amplitude will be very less. So that all remaining side bands will constitute hardly 2% or less than 2% of the total power. And therefore, ideally, the number of side bands is infinite, but beginning first few side bands are only significant, which are considered in order to evaluate the bandwidth, in order to evaluate the power required in the transmission of FM signal. So that is about the spectrum. Now, if we talk about FM applications, we have actually in the previous lecture studied about two types of FM, narrow band and wide band. Narrow band, when the modulation index is very small, probably less than 1. Modulation index is larger than 1, much larger, 5, 10, 15, that is called as wide band. When it is very less, narrow band. When modulation index is very large, wide band. So there are different applications like FM broadcasting that can deliver good quality of music and audio both. So FM broadcasting is supported by WBFM, radar, WBFM, seismic signal, telemetry, music synthesis, two-way radio system, magnetic tape recording, video broadcast system. So two-way radio system, ambulances, right? Then this telemetry kind of, in a specific range when we are using mobile communication, one-to-one communication, two-way communication, two-way radio communication. We can go for narrow band where the bandwidth requirement is less. Wherever there is more requirement of bandwidth, the requirement of bandwidth is more. Obviously, it will have more number of side bands, and there WBFM is used. If you see the magnetic tape recording system, if you talk about magnetic tape recording system, there also the communication is done. So let's have some further discussion on FM spectrum. We can also express the modulating signal voltage by VMT and the carrier signal by VCT, which is equal to VC0 sine omega CT plus phi, where phi is the angle. And the expression of FM can be written as VCO sine. You can see here omega CT plus del F divided by VMO is actually your modulation index, and into VMT, all right, plus some angle. So these are some further description about the spectrum. When you see here that a pure sine wave is there, which is in time domain. This is a signal. The amplitude can be seen on y-axis, and on x-axis there is time. So this is actually your time domain representation. When you calculate, when you see the same signal in the frequency domain representation, this is pure sine wave, means when we see the spectrum of carrier alone, right? When there is pure carrier, unmodulated carrier, when we measure, when we observe the spectrum, we will find that there is one component which is centered somewhere at that frequency, which is the frequency of carrier signal. So this is a frequency domain representation. And say, because in the previous one it was for pure carrier, pure sine wave, but if see, we get FM signal where you can clearly see that this is the time domain representation of FM signal, and look at the signal, you can find the carrier frequency is either increasing or decreasing. or decreasing or increasing depending on what is the variation of what I can say, demodulating signal amplitude. So this time domain representation, but when you plot frequency domain representation of same FM signal, you will find like this. See here at the center, it's a carrier. Carrier is located precisely at the center, and you can see on both the sides of carrier these peaks. There are so many peaks coming, you see here, and after some times it starts decaying too much, because we know that in the neighborhood of the center, in the vicinity of the center where carrier is located, there are sidebands which are having significant contribution in the power. So we can see their peaks as some considerable values, and after that it start diminishing, and the values are very small. Values are not too large. Okay, so these are the sidebands, and all these sidebands which are shown, all these sidebands which are represented in the frequency domain form, a response called as spectrum, frequency modulated spectrum. This is another way that this is a signal for which spectrum can be seen, right? So let's discuss about one example where the frequency modulation is used. You can see that this is an example of FM radio. When we talk about FM broadcast radio, generally the range of frequency which is covered is from 88 to 108 megahertz. And if you can see this radio set, look at here, it starts, FM range starts from 88 to 108 megahertz. And you also can see in the same radio set there is AM range as well, and there is FM range as well, right? There is AM and FM range. Upper side is the FM range, and you can find here there is a tuner kind of arrangement that can tune any frequency in this range from 88 to 180 megahertz, 108 megahertz, and based on what frequency is tuned, what frequency is chosen or selected, that particular channel will be selected, and about that channel a delivery will be made corresponding to that program. That broadcast corresponds to that channel will be delivered, will be made to the audience. So the broadcast mainly uses WBFM because narrowband FM has lesser bandwidth, so WBFM is generally supported, and mostly the music and voice, all this good quality of music and voice, audio signal, they are all included in the transmission in the broadcast of FM radio. The full audio spectrum, we know that it is 20 to 20,000 hertz. 20 to 20 kilohertz is the range of audio signal. But generally in FM, the upper limit is, the maximum modulating frequency generally in FM is 15 kilohertz, right? And because after 15 kilohertz, there may be some signal loss, but that is one more thing is possible, that beyond 15 kilohertz, all the frequencies might not be heard by the human ear properly. So that is also true, and therefore FM systems are mostly designed to to support the maximum transmitting signal frequency or modulating signal frequency as 15 kilohertz. As far as the frequency deviation is concerned, in our previous lecture, we have seen that the maximum possible frequency deviation in FM is 75 kilohertz, whereas in other systems, the deviation is less. Now let's talk about the performance of FM system. When we talk about performance of any communication system, especially analog communication system, we are actually discussing about analog communication. We are not talking about digital, because frequency modulation is an example of analog modulation method. So in analog communication system, when it comes with discussing about the performance metrics, the factors which decide the performance of system, that mainly includes the bandwidth calculation, the efficiency, and the impact of noise. So let's discuss the three important factors here in this lecture, highlighting the performance of FM system. So if you can see bandwidth, we know that the Carson suggested approximately the bandwidth is equal to twice of beta plus 1 into FM, where beta is the modulation index and FM is the maximum modulating frequency. And therefore, when we have more modulation index, more will be the bandwidth. And FM radio, as we have seen in the previous slide, FM radio requires large amount of bandwidth than AM radio. Therefore, FM radio utilizes FM, that is frequency modulation. But FM radio band is also larger. The combination sometimes, makes it's popular service delivery to the audience. In the same system, we can incorporate the FM radio as well as AM radio, so that it can cover the large range of frequencies, lower side as well as higher side. But what is important about bandwidth is, as we know that bandwidth depends on beta. But what is beta? Modulation index. And we know about modulation index, which depends on frequency deviation divided by modulating signal frequency. But modulating signal frequency we cannot change. Once we change the modulating signal frequency, the inherent content of message signal will be lost. So what can be changed so that we can say that we'll obtain large bandwidth? It is depending on deviation, frequency deviation. So when we calculate, when we increase frequency deviation, it's not that we can easily do it, but yes, if we can include more number of sidebands in our calculation, as we know that few beginning sidebands are responsible in the calculation of power, in the calculation of total power required in the signal, that is transmitted signal. But of course, if we can go up to some more number of sidebands, then more than 98%, maybe 99 or almost 99 point something 1 or 2% of power can be calculated, and that would be much better. But in that method, the number of sidebands will increase. So as I told you, bandwidth may be larger, but more number of sidebands are there. Then but the calculation will not be very appropriate as well. And one more thing we have to always remember, that bandwidth is not a factor which can be obtained or which can be increased up to any value. The channels, especially the service providers, they are always allotted some certain bandwidth. Bandwidth is purchased by them. So it's not that we can increase bandwidth up to any value, right? So bandwidth, of course, it may be large, but in FM we also know that in WBFM it's large, and then large bandwidth accommodates. The benefit of large bandwidth is it can accommodate more number of users, more number of channels can be accommodated in the entire bandwidth. That's the biggest benefit. All right, but there is a cost factor which is associated when we increase the bandwidth. Next one is efficiency. Efficiency of signal is power in the sideband, a fraction of the total power. It means how much power is there in the sideband, how much power is in the sideband, that decides the efficiency. Due to the considerable number of sidebands produced, efficiency is generally high in the FM. The conventional AM, as we compare FM efficiency with the conventional AM, we have seen that generally when we calculate for 100% modulation, because over modulation is not allowed. So we have seen in AM, even if we consider 100% modulation, ideally M equal to 1, then 33% efficiency was reported as highest efficiency. All right, the sidebands will carry around 33% of the total power. And so that the distortion is also prevented, because you can't increase the modulation index by 1. One can argue that in AM also we can increase the efficiency by increasing the modulation index, but the distortion may result. Distortion will result and will affect the quality of the signal at the receiving end, so we will not do. But when we compare this same value with the FM, it doesn't have that distortion problem, and we can have large value of modulation index. And when we have a bigger value of modulation index, we'll have more number of sidebands, and therefore more efficient it will be. So as far as the efficiency is concerned, it's far better than AM system. The modulation index larger, bandwidth required is also large, which is a compromise between efficiency and performance. I've already told you. For better performance, if you want, no, we need more bandwidth to accommodate more number of channels. But we also have to remember one thing in analog communication system. More is the bandwidth, more is the channel bandwidth, there is more possibility of interference or noise signal. That's another topic of discussion. But we always know that as the channel bandwidth increases, the possibility of intrusion, the possibility of interference or noise also increases. But so therefore there is a compromise, there is a trade-off between what do we want. We want large bandwidth, we want very high efficiency, but we also want to maintain good quality of the signal that is equally required. All right. So then third factor is noise. All right. Third factor is noise signal, and this noise is FM systems. I have already told you are much better than AM as far as rejecting the noise is concerned. Noise is generally spread uniformly across the spectrum. That type of noise which is distributed uniformly is called as white noise. If you talk about a Gaussian noise, Gaussian is the distribution, which is also considered as white noise, where the power spectral density, when the noise signal is characterized, when we actually specify or describe the noise signal, we always draw the power spectral density. And the power spectral density is very uniform in the white noise, and therefore that due to that uniformity, it is called as white noise. AM system is very much sensitive to random noise, whereas FM system is not that much sensitive. FM systems are inherently immune to random noise. Inherently immune to random noise. Okay, so let's summarize this lecture. That this lecture is all about FM spectrum and the bandwidth and the performance evaluation discussion. We know that FM, when FM is generated, we have carrier and there are number of sidebands. Ideally, we have infinite number of sidebands, because FM expression cannot be mathematically represented in simple way. We need to use specific mathematical operators called as Jacobian operators or Bessel functions. So when those are used, we get infinite number of sidebands. But when we want to calculate power, when we want to calculate bandwidth, we have to limit our discussion up to certain number of sidebands. And we can do also, because there is estimated theory that the total power, almost 98% of power is content in few beginning slides, few first slides. Slides means sidebands, not slides. Sidebands only. So therefore, we can consider those few first sidebands, and we can calculate the bandwidth. And therefore, the Carson has suggested one rule for bandwidth, which is equal to twice of beta plus 1 multiplied by FM, where beta is the modulation index. And when beta increases, the bandwidth increases. So bandwidth, noise, and efficiency are the important factors in the discussion of performance. When we compare FM system with AM, we find that the noise immunity is more. The AM system is very easily affected by random noise, whereas FM is not that much affected by random noise, right? And the immunity is very good. So problem of noise is less. The power efficiency, the total power, occupied in sidebands is that contributes to the efficiency. When we consider 100% modulation, even modulation index as 1 in AM, we find maximum efficiency as 33%, but in FM the efficiency is much higher than that of AM. and the bandwidth is much larger, and therefore when we compare the application of FM with respect to AM, so FM is mainly used for FM broadcasting, entertainment, system where the good quality of music and audio, even video delivery system also, the FM modulation system is used. So its spectrum is wide. It consists of so many sidebands, large bandwidth, bigger, more number of sidebands, large bandwidth, more efficient, less amount of noise, and better efficiency are the main characteristics of FM signal. FM spectrum or frequency modulation. So we'll close this lecture here now. Thank you.